Hello, my name is William. I'm a real estate agent with HomeSmart, and in today's video, I'll be reviewing the Bridgeport community. Now, to share in general, throughout the year, we have experienced a very dominant seller's market. Inventory still is a bit low, with demand still being very consistent in a lot of different market area shares. And being such, I felt that it would be good to really assess and give an evaluation of where your current property value could range at within the community. Because throughout, oftentimes people may think, well, what would be my property's worth or value in today's market? So, in order to give you this report, the way I'll be doing this is I'll be giving a presentation throughout. There will also be links to where you can download the market reports itself in general in separate files. And overall, this video will be here and left for you as a resource if you want to come back to and just review. And also at the same time, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. In the description below, I'll leave my best contact sources. If you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach me at any time.
All right, so we have our PowerPoint up now, and throughout these slides, I'll be reviewing market analysis that I was able to pull within Bridgeport from a current year-to-date standpoint. Um, and here's just a few key topics that I will be reviewing. First and foremost, just to give it a little bit of a background, from what I've learned throughout my history of working within the community, I was able to discover that the development was established around 1988, roughly 243 units within the development itself. Um, and as of recently, from what I've been made aware of, is that the HOA currently runs at 396 at a monthly rate. And these are just a few things, just review overall within the community itself that felt kind of stand out from a perspective per se of people who are looking within the community itself. These would all be good things to know as far as the surroundings and the history of it. Now, overall, these will be the review points for this market report. Um, all these factors kind of play in when you are reviewing a subdivision or neighborhood. You're going to want to consider how the current inventory is, how the transaction history was, average days on market, of course, the pricing range, and at the end, I'll be giving you details as far as how you can receive this complete market report. Most likely, there will be a link in the description below. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Um, so currently, we only have two active listings, two pending listings, and four closed transactions within the year so far. And with all these transactions, it accumulates to over $2 million worth of volume within Bridgeport, which isn't too bad within the first half throughout the year, roughly. As summer approaches, that could be something that could increase, especially on the active side. That's just how history really has reflected itself within the real estate market. In general, with two pending listings. Pending again, that just means something to where it's under contract. They just have to clear contingencies, and once that's clear, um, and they reach the settlement table, then it'll just transition into a closed or sold listing. And with there only being two active listings, that's pretty normal, especially within today's market, being that there's not much inventory in general throughout the counties. Two is actually kind of a decent amount within a condo subdivision. Um, these are just things to notice and just to take advantage of because let's say you are a seller and you are considering, you definitely would want to consider a time where there's not as much competition within your immediate area. So, being that there's two right now, you may want to wait until um, one or there's nothing currently in the area on the market that's active if you are considering wanting to sell. But if you are in that boat, you want to consider what is pending, what is sold, um, and as well as active too, just so that you can get a view on what kind of price point you're looking at, especially if, say, you have a two-bedroom, two-bathroom condo that's roughly above 1,000 square feet. Um, you're going to want to look at the comps, and that's what we're going to review, just so you can have a general idea of, what kind of price point your house may fall upon. And this is just a review of the current active listings. Both of these kind of are roughly the same as far as structural features, both within Bridgeport on different streets. Both 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom units. One's at 1070 for square footage, another one's a little bit bigger at 1090. And what you have here is this acronym is DOM, that stands for days on market. So with the unit that's listed at 260, it's been active for 5 days, and the unit that's listed at 291, it's been active for 12 days. So that gives you an average of 9 days of current active inventory with an average price point of 275,500. Um, and to kind of review, in my personal standpoint, 260 is a decent price for Bridgeport. 291 is probably on the higher side, as you notice that um, it's been on the market a little bit longer. A lot of that could be price influence, or just current property condition too. Maybe they wanted to list it at that price based upon any sort of renovations or remodeling that was done. And 260, I would feel that the discussion within that price point may have just been something more neutral or on an average standpoint. Hopefully, probably my assumption is that they may be looking for something of a quick sale or that gains a lot of attention or attraction from people looking within this community. And this kind of gives you a good view of kind of like a comparable standpoint. If you are looking to sell, these would be probably where you want to first start off at, because say you feel that your home may be have a little bit of an edge, as far as feature wise. The next thing you could do from a standpoint would be from a price perspective. Let's say you see one that's 260, one that's 291. You could be at a bargain standpoint to where you want to try and list your house at 250. Well, automatically, if you have a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom house with the same square footage and you list at 250, well, then you're going to automatically get more attention based off of what's currently active. And not only that, they're going to see it as a good bargaining point to where, um, be a good list price to start at, but it could increase with, multiple contentions per se. So what we have next will be the current pending sales, and again, what's pending just means that it's currently under contract and it's in a phase where they just have to clear contingencies um, in order to fully close and settle on the home to consider as a fully sold and closed property. Um, okay, so again, with these ones, both of them are 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom units. One a little bit smaller than the other one. Not too sure how noticeable it may be in person, but definitely numbers that appraisers are going to consider within doing their evaluation as well too. Definitely something worth considering from a homeowner's perspective as far as price evaluations. But you can kind of see with these here, the ones that are currently under contract definitely were a little bit lower than what was on the active market. And again, that's what buyers are really going to consider is price for the majority. For example, you have this one at 235. It went under contract within 4 days, so that's pretty much from a Friday to Monday sort of deal. um, and it just comes on the market quick and is gone in over a weekend standpoint. And I'm pretty sure more than likely this is going to be from a price influence sort of deal. And with things like this, what you have to consider is that people who are going to be pre-approved within a certain bracket are going to take more favor within these two. Let's say somebody's pre-approved at 250,000. Automatically, they have two options to look at. To where with the active ones, it would have been a little bit tougher and not as competitive. But if you're pre-approved at 250, and you see a condo at 235, now you have a little bit of room to be competitive. Or at the same time, if you want to deal your hand for going for a 250,000 property, um, buyers are still able to play their hand within that as well too. So from a homeowner's perspective, when you look at this, you definitely want to consider that there's already a wide range that people are considering for this neighborhood, and that other homeowners have considered for evaluating their property's price. So right now, you already see there's a low side of 235 and a high side of 291. So as you go to the closed sales, now you get into more of a wider range within where the property's values have been upon. And we're going to notice a trend too that a lot of two bedroom, two bathroom units have sold roughly around the same square footage. If not, some have been a little bit larger. Um, and again, what really depends too within these prices is going to be renovations and just current interior structure and how it may look, from an appeal standpoint. So within these four, um, you have quite a few that started at a lower list price and closed a bit higher, and then some that you may have started a little bit higher and settled for a little bit less than what they anticipated. And that's really that can be normal. It just really depends on the timing too, as far as when properties are active on the market and when they tend to close or sell. And oftentimes it's really hard to pinpoint, as far as how much attention it has really gotten. But if you're looking at it from this report, the best detail that can really give you that advantage is just knowing the days on market. So I'll take this one for example. You have 2 days being active on the market, listed at 280, sold at 280. So my assumption is either that this property must have had a lot of features on the inside to where it was more modern, or it lived up to that price, because not only did it sell for 280, but more than likely it either appraised for 280 or was close to it. And that would be my assumption for it to get to that point. And then a lot of the other ones were in between 265 and 268 for a close point, which is pretty solid, and that kind of just lets you know that it's a very steady trend. I'm sure that's definitely an increase from, say, if this were to be within 2021, from a value standpoint. So if you're a homeowner with a two-bedroom, two-bathroom condo in Bridgeport, maybe within the 250 to 260 and above range is definitely where you're going to want to consider. But not only that, you'd really have to consider too, what other additional touches could you do to make your property increase in value as well. It's a lot of different tactics that can be considered throughout with testing market and really evaluating what your home's worth could be. And on this next slide, these are just kind of like a pricing recommendation, just based upon a low, average, high, and median value. And these numbers are all based upon what has sold within this year. So if you're looking to list your house on the lower side or consider, you may want to start at 235. At about average or median, you're going to land at 264 to 266, and on the higher side, 291. So it's a good bracket in a wide range to really base your property upon. Um, and again, really, it's more so too, as far as what kind of equity standpoint you may have, that you would want to gain upon. Um, and these numbers is a good basis to really run that from. From my experience, from a lower side, if you list on the lower end, say at 235, you're definitely going to get more attention, to where that number is going to be driven up to the higher side or to the median side possibly, just since that it gets more viewings, it gets more people at open houses, and more than likely that'll turn into a multiple offer situation. And Again, that can happen at a median and an average standpoint as far as pricing. So let's say you list your house at 260, for example. I'm sure you would still get pretty good attention too, as far as standpoint for showings and open houses, which would hopefully lead into offers. Um, but they may not go too above and beyond what the list price would be. Say if it was 260, it would just really depend on if it does have those features, or say if it were to be the only one within Bridgeport, um, that would be where they would want to definitely consider if they feel it's a good opportunity to come across. Then on the higher side, you have 291, or within the second highest was 280, and those would be if you really want to capitalize and just feel like, okay, this is a bottom line price. I did do the renovations, I did apply new countertops, new appliances, and want to get your money's worth back from it. Then maybe starting from a higher price point would make more sense, just to leave it as the bottom line number. But overall, I feel like this is a good standpoint to really base your house on within the Bridgeport community, um, that makes you aware of what your current market standpoint is within the industry today. And what I'll do is I will leave a link below, and I'll leave my contact information below in case you have any further questions or suggestions. I'm more than glad to to help out in any way possible. Um, there will be more details below, and with anything that occurs throughout, I definitely would do my best to be active and just see how further trends occur from here throughout the summer. I hope this video was very helpful. Again, thank you for tuning in, and hope you have a great day. Take care.